we can smell marijuana. That still gives us the right to come in and search for that, okay?
Not without a warrant.
No, it does. I don't have to have a warrant when I can smell it.
Although officers did not enter the home, the Owensboro Police Department acknowledged the officers were incorrect in stating they could enter the residence without a warrant to conduct a search.
About 2 weeks ago, I posted a video showing cops in Owensboro, Kentucky responding to a guy's house after he butt dialed 911 by accidentally pressing the emergency button on his iPhone. But when officers from the Owensboro Police Department arrived, they claimed that they had the right to detain the guy and to enter his house and search it despite not having a warrant.
I don't know why you're being so difficult about this.
Because I know my rights.
No, okay, and I know my rights and our rights as officers. We can smell marijuana, you have to be 21 to purchase that.
22.
Okay, so we need to verify that then. How about that?
The reason they gave is the alleged smell of marijuana. As I explained in the video, that was completely wrong, a violation of the important protections our founders gave to the privacy of our homes. These were constitutional violations captured on the officers' own body cams. That video ended up making it into both the TV news as well as the local newspaper there, which was fantastic because that in turn then prompted the Owensboro Police Department to publicly respond to my video. So what did they have to say about my video and the actions of their officers? Let's go through it. I've talked to you about how you can get your private information removed from the internet, but what happens once it's already in the wrong hands? We are under constant surveillance and data collection, not only by our government, but by private companies and most especially criminals. That's why I'm excited to tell you about the sponsor of today's video, NordProtect. NordProtect is an all-in-one identity theft protection service crafted by cybersecurity experts built to safeguard your identity with advanced automated features that work in the background 24/7, such as dark web monitoring, credit monitoring, and security alerts. NordProtect will provide you with real-time credit alerts about suspicious credit activity or new accounts made in your name. It continuously scans the dark web for your information, providing you with 24/7 alerts if your information is leaked. NordProtect also provides you with criminal record monitoring, alerting you if your identity is linked to criminal records. I've shown you what can happen when the cops mix up your identity with some random criminal. They're not going to do their homework, so I recommend protecting yourself. Plus, they have theft recovery, up to $1 million in coverage for eligible recovery costs like lost wages. You're also covered for online scams, blackmail, and stolen funds. If the worst happens, a dedicated case manager is available 24/7 to guide you through the recovery and help restore everything that matters. Protect your identity now. Get an exclusive NordProtect discount at nordprotect.com/civilprotect. It's risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Now let's get back to this video. Welcome back to the Civil Rights Lawyer channel, where my mission is to help protect and defend your constitutional rights by showing you some of the very basic and common constitutional rights violations committed by your public servants that occur across the country and that for the most part go completely under the radar. And you can help by making sure that these constitutional rights violations don't go under the radar. By watching, subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting, you can help hold those public servants accountable and prevent what you see in this video from happening again to someone else. You can also submit videos for my review, whether they're yours or videos you just came across, by using the submission link in the description below. In fact, this particular video originated with an online submission by a guy named Xavier who lives in Owensboro, Kentucky, which by the way is the 4th most populous city in Kentucky, located about 100 miles southwest of Louisville. So Xavier was just hanging out at his house listening to some music back in January of 24 when he accidentally butt dials 911 by pressing the emergency button on his phone's lock screen. This alerted the local 911 center, which pinged his phone and dispatched police officers with the Owensboro PD to his home's front porch. So from January of 24 through now, nothing had been done about this incident because nobody had really seen it aside from Xavier, and clearly the Owensboro PD had done nothing about it because nobody had seen it. When I watched it, I was immediately interested in doing a video on this because it showed very basic constitutional constitutional violations that should never occur. Just right there, captured on these officers' body cams. It was concerning to me that the primary officer involved here, Officer Andrew Hurt, according to Xavier, either had a serious misunderstanding about the core constitutional protections surrounding our homes, or he just didn't care at all about our constitutional rights. Additionally, it was extremely concerning to me that the supervisor who showed up on the scene apparently supported these violations, and when Xavier wanted to talk with him about the violations, the supervisor actually refused to talk to him and instead essentially threatened him with arrest for making a false police report if he called to complain, and then he just basically walked off, leaving Xavier with nobody else to turn to, sadly, except for this guy on YouTube. So they violated the Constitution that they swore an oath to protect, and then they failed to serve the public by holding themselves and each other accountable for what they did. This is something that I thought the public around these public servants should see, because there needed to be not only some accountability, but also the problem needed to be fixed. They needed to be educated so that this did not continue to happen, and that's why I chose to cover Xavier's video about 2 weeks ago. The problem here is that Officer Hurt is on Xavier's front porch, talking to him through the threshold of that front door, and failing to appreciate the difference between a police interaction that occurs at the home as opposed to one that occurs in a public place. Assuming that marijuana is illegal in a particular state, in a public place, law enforcement can claim that they smell weed and then search your vehicle or search your person in order to find the source of the alleged criminal smell. Oftentimes, this is just a pretext to detain and search someone for reasons other than actually marijuana. Basically, a fishing expedition for warrants or for evidence of more serious crimes. And I believe that that is what Officer Hurt was attempting to do here, only this wasn't a public place.
We can smell marijuana. That still gives us the right to come in and search for that, okay?
Not without a warrant.
No, it does. I don't have to have a warrant when I can smell it. I don't know why you're being so difficult about this.
Because I know my rights.
No, okay, and I know my rights and our rights as officers. We can smell marijuana, you have to be 21 to purchase that.
22.
Okay, so we need to verify that then. How about that?
Even if he had absolute proof that there was illegal marijuana inside Xavier's home, he couldn't arrest him or even search him or his home without a warrant. He could still do it potentially, he would just have to get a warrant first. As the Supreme Court held in the 1980 case of Payton versus New York, absent valid consent or exigent circumstances, i.e. an emergency actively occurring, law enforcement may not cross the threshold of a residence without a warrant. There is no I smell weed exception to police interactions occurring at a home, as there sometimes can be in public places. I detailed more of the underlying law that applies to the situation in this original video, which I'll link in the description below if you want to learn about some of those cases. That's what I need to be doing right now. But the main problem is there can be no search, no arrest at the home without a warrant. It's always possible there's an exception if there's an active emergency or exigent circumstances occurring, and that could have been a possibility here since this originated with a 911 call, but we can see in this conversation between Officer Hurt and Xavier that any concern there was about an emergency actively occurring had been completely alleviated.
I just accidentally hit the emergency. That's
all right,
like that.
Thank you.
It's charged. But I just hit the emergency call by accident, I guess, up on the lock screen.
So we're good. He's clear.
You don't have any warrants?
No.
Rather, this was just something that became about power and ego. Had Officer Hurt framed the conversation in those terms, insisting that he had to make sure that there was no hostage inside or something like that, he would have been on much more solid footing. But he had absolutely no right to just pretend that no warrant was required. The courts often compared the situation to a Girl Scout selling cookies door to door. So in reality, Officer Hurt had no more rights to even be on Xavier's porch talking to him than would a Girl Scout selling cookies. If he's asked to leave, he's required to leave, just like a Girl Scout. That's because the only right there is to engage here is a consensual encounter with the implied consent of the homeowner. Thankfully, this was captured on body cam video, later obtained by Xavier through a public records request. He later provided it to me and I showed it to you. That then prompted a response by the Owensboro Police Department because it was being actively shared and discussed by the public on the internet. And this then caught the attention of the local media, both the TV news and a local newspaper. The Owensboro Owensboro Times newspaper published a piece on my video, and then the TV news 44 News WEVV out of Evansville, Indiana also covered the video, even interviewing me about it. Why? Because with your help, my original video got a response from the Owensboro Police Department, and it was actually quite refreshing.
Owensboro Police Department has launched an internal investigation after officer body cam footage started circulating online, and it involved officers responding to a 911 call from January of 2024, where the homeowner claims the police violated his rights. 44 News reporter Frank Spano has the latest details.
An Owensboro man is saying that police violated his Fourth Amendment rights after he accidentally butt dialed them, sending them to his door and threatening to detain him.
And search for that, okay?
Not without a warrant.
No, it does. I don't have to have a warrant when I can smell it.
According to OPD, that body cam video shows 2 Owensboro police officers and a sergeant who responded after a 911 hang-up call. While speaking with the homeowner, officers say they detected a smell of marijuana coming from the residence. Although officers did not enter the home, the Owensboro Police Department acknowledged the officers were incorrect in stating they could enter the residence without a warrant to conduct a search.
Here's what they said. On Tuesday, December 16, 2025, the Owensboro Police Department was made aware of a video circulating around the internet and various social media platforms regarding 2 OPD officers and 1 OPD sergeant who responded to a 911 hang-up call for service in January 2024. It goes on to say that though officers never entered the home, they were wrong in their assertions that they could enter his home without a warrant and conduct a search. To do so would have been a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment of the Constitution. The Owensboro Police Department works diligently to ensure our officers maintain a high level of competency to serve our community. We strive for perfection, however, we are human and at times we fall short. All officers of the Owensboro Police Department will continue to receive refresher training on search and seizure laws and legal updates regarding court decisions affecting how we do business. They go on to say they are in the process of conducting an internal review of the incident and that the community deserves nothing less. As I mentioned in my interview with the TV news there, though they didn't play very much of that interview actually, I give the OPD a lot of credit for their response. They took responsibility, they admitted they were wrong, and they took steps both to investigate what actually happened and to put additional educational requirements in place to help avoid similar future violations by their officers.
44 News spoke with lawyer John Bryan, whose YouTube page, The Civil Rights Lawyer, posted the video after being contacted by the homeowner.
I thought it was like a good canvas for showing, what law enforcement does wrong all the time across the country. It was sort of a good teachable moment video. It's great that they came out with a response that they did and that they want to improve things.
A statement released by OPD says such an action would have constituted a violation of the Fourth Amendment, which protects against unreasonable searches and seizures. OPD's statement reads in part, the officers detected the odor of marijuana emanating from the residence. Though the officers never entered the home, they were wrong in the assertion they could enter the home without a warrant and conduct a search. The department emphasized its commitment to professionalism and accountability, saying in part, we strive for perfection, however, we are human and at times we fall short. And 44 News reached out to the Owensboro Police Department for an on-camera interview. They referred us to a statement they released online saying in part, they are working to make sure a situation like this never happens again.
Many times the response that we get is to gaslight the public, telling you that you didn't see what you saw, that you watched a highly edited and biased video, but their initial response here was good. But let's see if they follow through. I'm curious to know whether there will be any actual accountability here for Officer Andrew Hurt, as well as the sergeant supervisor who arrived at the scene and not only knew better, but should have addressed Xavier's concerns that night rather than threatening him and walking away.
I want to talk to you because you're the supervisor. I don't have anything to say to you.
While this is an example of the power of you, the public, just paying attention to what your government is doing, it's also important to stay on top of them. Words are easy. In the end, we need to see action. Are they going to follow through with their public statement? Are they going to announce and release the outcome of this internal investigation? Are they actually going to require additional training? I did talk to Xavier and he hasn't heard anything new on his end, but we shall see. And when I hear anything else, I'll do an update video, and you can follow along by subscribing both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X at JohnBryanESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.